Welcome to another fight predictions video. This is Canelo Alvarez versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. So last night, Canelo Alvarez and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. squared off a catchweight fight of 164.5 pounds, which is, I guess, in between middleweight and super-middleweight divisions. There's no point going through the sort of profiles of the fighters because everyone knows who both fighters are. Going into the fight, I did think Canelo Alvarez would probably win. It was going to be a tough fight, which I predicted, but I was very wrong, and this fight was a terrible fight. I just finished watching it now for YouTube and stuff. It was a terrible fight because like I said, I missed the fight last night, but I looked at a few reports and they said there's similar things. People online was really critical of the fight, so I thought, well, I'll watch it and see what would happen. It was an absolutely terrible fight. There's a few factors probably, well, in my opinion, that I think Chavez Jr. Lost the fight. One, probably because of the weight reduction. That's probably the easiest thing to pick out from. I know sometimes you can't really say it's just an excuse, but obviously from our point of view it might look like it's an excuse. From his point of view, he might think he didn't have the energy, he might not have had the stamina, fitness. Maybe the weight loss is just too much to handle, because currently he does campaign at sort of super middleweight, light heavyweight divisions, what he has been doing recently. And I checked the other day, he didn't actually fight at the middleweight sort of limit around that for I think 3 or 4 years, which is a long time, because, and obviously he's an athlete and you can lose weight and gain weight, of course, but like if you haven't been at a specific weight class for a long time, it's going to affect your body in various ways, and I think that's just a good case for that. Other areas where I think you lost the fight is because the game plan was wrong. I mean, when I watched the fight, the whole 12 rounds, Chavez Jr. didn't look like he had a backup plan. He looked so confused in between the shots they showed him in the corner getting instructions by his corner. I didn't know, like, I didn't really know what was going on, but like Chavez was like looking around sometimes, and I think the 5th round there's a shot of him when he was like getting water over him and stuff, and he had a cut over his bleeding nose, and he looked like he didn't know what was going on. He looked like he was overwhelmed by the situation, and his trainer, Nacho Beristain, is a great trainer, one of the best trainers of all time. He's trained various world champions, and well, I didn't really remember him saying anything to him or giving him good advice. And if in the whole 12 rounds, normally when you watch a fight, if that person's got dominated from start to finish, they might have the odd bit of a success, like a really rare vein of success, like the odd half a round maybe. But like in this, Chavez Jr. obviously won no rounds, and of course he had like the odd flurry here and there. Like the first round, I can remember him landing a good body shot, but apart from that, like I don't remember him really sort of pushing Alvarez back, or maybe getting him on the ropes and flurrying the punches, or just setting up something and try and work from the ground up. I remember round 6 and 9, Alvarez was sort of laying on the ropes and sort of inviting Chavez to come in, and the commentators were kind of right. They were saying maybe he knows he's a better fighter, which I do think that's correct. But Chavez is a tough fighter. I don't think he would have got stopped in any way. But yeah, he might have been hurt if he got countered. But I thought by that point, if he was losing the fight, especially in the 9th round, he should have just gone in there and just threw everything he had and just see what happens. If he got knocked out, at least you can say, yeah, his performance in the first half of the fight wasn't good enough. But at least he gave it his all in the second half, and he tried his best. But of course, in the end, he lost by a 12-round unanimous decision, losing on all 12 rounds. The fans are right to bib as well, because it was billed as a big fight, Mexican versus Mexican as well, and of course, normally they're proud fighters, and of course, Chavez Jr. is a proud fighter, and he's obviously got a lot of fans and stuff, but obviously this would dent his credibility because it was a poor showing from him, and his whole team in general, to be fair. Like, I know having a dad, obviously there's a legend in Chavez Senior, and sometimes it might help, sometimes it doesn't. But I do think he didn't really do much. The corner didn't really offer much advice, and sometimes when I look at fights, say if the first plan isn't working, because sometimes a backup plan is a good option. Where was the backup plan? There was no backup plan, and he looked like he didn't know what he was doing after 3 or 4 5 rounds in. No backup plan, no. He didn't believe in himself, which is a shame, because Sorry about the noise. But like, I remember back when he was middleweight champion. I know it's a long time ago now because obviously it's 5 to 6 years ago now. Yeah, but back then he used to bully the opponents and throw punches to the body and head and just rough them up. I know it's different type of fighters, different type of quality, but like with the Alvarez, maybe the fact that he was a different and better fighter, maybe that's the reason why he just didn't want to throw any punches. But on average point of view, I mean, it was a good performance. I wouldn't really take a lot of credit for the win because the fact that, like, I'm not saying this is obviously his plan, but I realised the other day that, like, this is the sort of third or fourth catchweight fight since I think it was the SA Lara fight. That was a middleweight fight, I think, or not middleweight, sorry. But then if you look through his opponents, he's got James Kirkland, which was a middleweight fight. Then you've got Mingo Cotto, Amir Khan, Liam Smith. They're all sort of like in between catchweights and stuff. So like, and yet again, this is another catchweight fight. Because I'm not saying Chavez Jr. would have won or would have dominated Alvarez if it was a different weight class. He might have had a better chance, but I still think Alvarez probably would have won. But say if Alvarez could come in a bit heavier, like, I don't know, 170 for example. I know that's a bit of a gap between middleweight and the weight limit agreed. But then again, sometimes if the fight can't get made, if they knew, I think Chavez Jr. should have been a bit more sort of clever. Like if he knew he couldn't make that weight. I know it's a big fight and there's a lot of opportunities, there's a big name, and because his career was sort of going down a little bit. But there's other fighters out there who you could sort of, it might take a bit longer to build up your credibility again, but say if he didn't fight Alvarez, he could have fought like David Lemieux on the undercard, or there's other fighters around. I know James Kirkland isn't really a name, but like there's fighters in and around certain weight classes you can build up your name, and maybe after a couple of good wins, maybe you could fight an Alvarez or a Golovkin or another big fight in different divisions. But it's just a shame because Alvarez Jr., I know he's not the best fighter in the world, but he's tough, he's strong, he's got a good heart, a good chin, and it was kind of sorry to see him looking like that. But of course, obviously, the big talking point, of course, is after the fight, Canelo Golovkin come out and which did like some sort of like discount WWE sort of style re-entrance, was a bit strange, and I think they signed a contract maybe between the Chavez Jr. training camps fight, I don't know, maybe before, and that's scheduled to fight I think in the middle of September, and I thought, because obviously Canelo Alvarez is currently at like middleweight technically and he holds a belt there, I thought he vacated all of his middleweight belts, but he got stripped of his WBC middleweight title belt, but the Ring Magazine middleweight belt is still linked to him. So when they fight in September, it'll be for the Ring Magazine, WBA, WBC, IBF and IBO middleweight title belts. Big fight, of course. I mean, I'm glad to see that Canelo Alvarez is finally fighting him. I know everyone's got a case of it, which side was affecting what negotiation-wise. Was it Alvarez or was it Golovkin? Who knows? But I'll do a prediction for that soon, or maybe nearer the fight. But that'd be a great fight to watch. Like I said, in terms of this fight, it was a poor showing. I don't think it shouldn't have been pay-per-view in the first place. Not first place. I think it should have just been different circumstances. I don't think Chavez should have fought him because knowing that like the weight was so hard to move. And credit to it, I know we did come in on the weight class, but sometimes if you know you can't do it and you're going to struggle and it is going to affect your performance, because you can't tell me Chavez Jr. didn't know it was going to affect his performance because he's more intelligent for that. He's not an idiot. Like I said, poor showing from Chavez Jr. But then again, like I wouldn't take credit for the win if I was Alvarez. I just think it's sort of like a stepping stone, have a name on his record to sort of bump up his record even more. And obviously the name obviously brings a lot of supporters and a lot of interest from that because it's Chavez. And in the day, Chavez Jr. Where does he go from now? I think he should just stay in a bit more heavier classes, super middleweight, light heavyweight classes. I know he did lose there recently, but I think if he's a bit heavier, he'll have a bit more success. I'm not sure in terms of titles or anything like that at the minute, because I think at the minute he needs to have a couple of tune-up fights, get a few good wins under his belt, and then go from there. Obviously, for Alvarez, the fight Golovkin, this will be a great test because it'll be a bigger test of his career so far. I know he fought Floyd Mayweather, but obviously back then it was a long time ago. It's 4 years ago now, and I think back then he was sort of slightly not. He wasn't as experienced as he is now because he's had the learning experience beaten by Mayweather and it's moulded him to a better fighter. I'm not really sure at this current moment who would win that fight because they're both active, they're both good fighters, they both can punch. I wouldn't say it's a 50-50 fight, but like maybe in a few months' time when I sort of look over their fights again, maybe look over like people say, and maybe again like I said, look over their fights and actually see who I prefer them, because at the minute I could easily say one fight and then you never know when they actually fight, it could be complete opposite. This has been my Julio Cesar Chavez versus Canelo Alvarez fight review. Give a like and comment down below as well what you think of the fight, if it was poor, what do you think about both fighters' performances, and I'll see you in the next video.